This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, friends. Welcome to GoOnlineTrainings.com. So, uh, last 2 weeks we were talking about completely uh, what is SQL Server, what is database architecture, and what is business integrity, what is a primary key, what is a foreign key, what is a relationship, what is one-to-one, what is one-to-many, what is many-to-many, what is data modeling. All these things we discussed so far. Okay, this is the time where and we should be able to start our lab. Clear? So make sure that you have installed SQL Server software, the latest version 2019. If not, install the software by today or tomorrow. We are going to be starting the lab from today. Am I clear? So if you wanted to communicate with SQL Server, you have to know a language. The language is called as SQL language. Clear? So as we discussed already, you have a concept called RDBMS, right? So let me go there, and you have a lot of softwares are available, right? So we have SQL Server, or you can say Oracle. One minute, let me increase the font so that you can understand. And okay, you have Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, then we have PostgreSQL and MySQL. Then we are talking about a lot of other softwares, Teradata, then Database 2000. This is from IBM company, right? And Netezza, this is also from IBM company. There are thousands of RDBMS softwares are available. These are called RDBMS softwares, or people will say RDBMS tools or apps. Okay, RDBMS applications or apps. So it is there to store the data and retrieve the data. But if you wanted to communicate, this is you, right? You're a developer, you wanted to communicate. So if you wanted to communicate, definitely you should have a language. What language you need to speak here? There is a language called SQL language. I already told you, right? So I'm communicating to you in English and I'm teaching you RDBMS concept. Am I clear? So that is very, very important. And today we should be able to know or learn a language. Language is called as SQL, Structured Query Language. Structured Query Language we must learn. Clear? So this language initially prepared by or developed by IBM company in 1970. So prior to SQL, we had a language called C language. C language is very, very complex, and we cannot understand very, very easily. We wanted to had, we wanted to have a simplified language to communicate with these softwares. The language is called as SQL, Structured Query Language. I told you already, SQL and SQL Server is not the same. SQL is a language. SQL Server is what is software. Clear? So that is what you need to understand. Clear? And you have lot of commands that you need to know if you wanted to study SQL. Clear? So tomorrow, if you wanted to store your data or if you wanted to retrieve the data, what is the language that you should know? The language is called as a, this is you should know a language called SQL. SQL has some commands, SQL commands. Okay, this is what we're going to be learning. If you learn tomorrow Oracle, they will be teaching you SQL. If you learn SQL Server, faculty is going to teach you SQL. If you learn anything, Teradata, DB2, Netezza, any RDBMS softwares, when you learn, you are going to be getting SQL, structured query language. Clear? So that is very, very important. So we are going to learn these commands from today. Clear? So SQL is a language. Be clear. SQL and SQL Server, both of them are not equal. If somebody says SQL and SQL Server is equal, then you can leave the training today, because I'm telling you it is not the same. Clear? SQL is the language that we are going to be using and to communicate with Oracle, SQL Server, PostgreSQL, and MySQL, Teradata, DB to Netezza. So SQL is not a software. Be clear. SQL is a language which is used to communicate to the SQL softwares or RDBMS softwares. Okay, don't say that. Don't say that you're having this kind of a things, guys. I think people are coming very, very late. Durga Prasad Padma, okay? I think this is not the time. So maximum 5 minutes you can take and come. Otherwise, there is no point in coming, 30 minutes late. Clear? And there is no point. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to log this. So there is no point if you come 30 minutes late, 40 minutes late. Come on time, please. So RDBMS softwares and tools and apps, and we are going to learn what SQL language from today. So this language invented by IBM guys in 1970. Clear? So be clear, SQL is a language and Microsoft is used the same name, SQL Server. It does not mean that both of them are same, right? So if my name is Bhaskar Gates and Bill Gates, do you think that I am not related to Microsoft, right? There's no relationship between Bill Gates and Bhaskar Gates. That's what you need to understand. Clear? So you never read the simply name and say that both of them are equal. People may ask you, do you know SQL? If you know Oracle, if you know MySQL, Teradata, DB2, Netezza, if you know any RDBMS software, that means you know SQL, right? If you know any RDBMS softwares means you know SQL. Clear? That's what is very, very important. Okay. So guys, from tomorrow, you have to be on time, Nitish and other people. So maximum 5 minutes time I'll allow. If not, I log the meeting. I log the meeting means you will not be able to allow into the meetings. Clear? So make sure that you come on time. So this is very, very important. So we are going to learn from today SQL commands. Clear? So what are the commands that we have? There are four types of commands in SQL. The first one is called DDL commands, DML commands, and TCL and DCL. Clear? So there are four types of commands we have. So one is called DDL command, DML command, TCL command, and a DCL command. So these are the four commands that you should know. Clear? So DDL means what? DDL means data definition language. In this, we have create, alter, drop, truncate. Clear? So DDL means we have create, alter, drop, truncate. DML means select, insert, update, and delete. Select, insert, update, and delete. So these are called data manipulation language commands. And we have TCL, transaction control language commands. Clear? Commit, rollback, save point. The last one is DCL, data control language, where we have grant, deny, and revoke. These are security. Security means permission related commands. So DBA people are going to be using this. Clear? So you guys are called developer. You as you are a developer. Developer is called as a programmer. You're a programmer. You're going to be writing the code. But so there is one more team. Those people have to maintain these servers. The team is called as a DBA team. DBA means what? Database administrators, admin guys. Clear? So DBA means database administrators. So those guys have to buy the hardware, install operating system, install software, and complete data of the company will be maintained by DBA guys only. Clear? You guys are called creators. Developers means creators. We are going to be writing the software, but tomorrow somebody has to, maintain the server, right? Whether server is on or off, or do we have the latest softwares? Is there any space issue in the server or not? So all these things will be taken care by the DBA team. Clear? So these people are also have to learn what is called as SQL. Clear? So that is what is very, very important. So DB means what? Database administrators, and we are called database programmers. DBA team have to work 24 by 7. So they are not 9 to 5 jobs or 8 to 5 jobs. Clear? So we are not going to deal with 24 by 7. We are the programmers. So we are having 8 to 5 or 8 to 6 or 9 to 6, whatever it is. But DBA team 24 by 7 during Christmas Day, Ramzan Day. So all days they need to work. 24 by 7 shifts will be there because they need to take care of servers. If one server is shut down means you don't get any data. Clear? So 24 by 7 they have to be there in the company. So they have a lot of people who are going to be managing the servers. So DBA is also one more role, but only thing is that you have to work 24 by 7 shifts. Clear? Even night, morning, everything, and Christmas Day, Sunday, holiday. You don't get Saturday, Sunday holidays for DBA team. DBA team will get Monday, Tuesday, any one day or 2 days. You will be getting, holidays, but not like developers. Clear? So that's what is very, very important. We are going to start the lab today. If you wanted to start the lab, so you should know these commands. What are the commands I'm talking about? These DDL, DML, TCL, and DCL commands you should know. So then we can simply go ahead and do this. Clear? So now to write these commands, you should know how to open SQL Server, right? You should know how to open SQL Server. That's very, very important. So to open SQL Server, so what are the steps? How do you open it? So you need to install SQL Server 2019 software. Clear? And by today or tomorrow, because we're going to start the lab from today. Am I clear? If you wanted to do the lab, so what is important? Important is you should know how to open the SQL Server. So I told you already, go to start. So SSMS and press enter. So you can go to start. This is the place you start. Say SSMS, SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server, Management Studio 18, 17. Some number will be there. No worries about it. Click on this. This is an application. So go to start. SSMS means what? SQL Server Management Studio. Clear? So SQL Server Management Studio, which is a software for SQL Server RDBMS. Clear? So remember this SSMS SQL Server Management Studio. That's what is very, very important. Clear? So this is very, very important. Clear, guys? So now I have opened it. Now I need to give my machine name here. So how do you get your machine name? Okay, simply you can go to your Windows. Okay, you can click on the folder here. You will be able to see Windows 10, right? So Windows 7, Windows 10. Right click on this and go to properties. Sorry, not here. Go to this PC, right click in the properties. You should be able to get your computer name and everything here. Clear? So rename this PC Where is this? See now, my machine name is device name is Kedar. Have you seen this? So I'm having Intel, i5 CPU and 4 GB of RAM and 64-bit operating system and clear. That's what. So this is the information that you should know. Clear? What is your laptop name? So simply, even though you're a non-technical person, you can just get it. So what is your computer name? How to get it? So there is a folder icon. Click on this. When you click on this, when you come down, you should be able to find out this PC. Right click on this and say properties. Clear? And device name will be your computer name. You can simply copy this and go to SQL Server and give it the same name and click on connect. Clear? So by default, you are going to be having a default instance. You can give your machine name or simply you can also put what? Dot and click on connect. Clear? So dot means I told you SQL Server default instance. If you miss this class, please try to, watch the second day video. I think third day video on database architecture. So what is a default instance? What is a shared instance? I discussed. Please watch video number 2. Clear? And this is my SQL Server. This is how you should be able to open. Let me show you once again. It's very simple. You need to go to start, right? Go to start and say SSMS. Clear? You can simply go to this and write SSMS here and press enter. So SSMS, press enter. You will be able to get this. Then click on this. When you click on this, you will be able to get SQL Server software. Clear? One more window will get opened. You need to go to that window. Server name. You can give your computer name. So to find out the computer name, I told you go to this icon and open this. Now I told you right click on this, go to properties. Now your computer name is available. So this is what you should be able to give it there. Otherwise, you can also give dot. Dot means local SQL server. Click on connect. Am I clear? This is how you can open. And so first one after opening this, okay, first one I'm opening this. So I wanted to create what? Database. Clear? If you wanted to store the data, the first step you should know how to create a database. How to create a database. That is what you should know it. Clear? So you can give either PC name, right? So these things already discussed. You can give the PC name or you can give dot means it is going to be connecting to local default instance billion. So please watch if you don't remember because this we discussed already, right? Yeah, dot means what? Local SQL Server default instance, right? So refer to the notes, please. Yeah. So these are so you will have a lot of databases here. You don't get these many databases by default. Don't ask me, sir, I don't have this database, because by default you don't have any database. You have to create a database. Clear? When you expand it, so you will be able to see like this. You need to simply click on expand button. Clear? Click on this button so that you will get lot of things. By default you don't get all these things. No worries about it. If you wanted to create a new database, so the next step is create a new database. So how do you create new database? It's very simple. You should go there, right click on databases and new database. It's very simple to create new database. So give the database name is called company, right? So you have to give the name of the database. Click on OK. Now as we know, when you create a database, it will create two files. One is called .mdf file, .ldf file. You must watch second and third video if you don't remember. And don't ask me what is MDF now, okay? Because already I have discussed. And when you create a company database, it's going to be creating two files. What are those files? One is called, when you create a database, it will create two files. One is called .mdf file. This is what is called data file, and one more file gets created. So this is what is called log file. I told you, right? When you burn, you will have one heart, two kidneys, one liver, one lung, a lot of things by default you will be having, right? So like that, when you create a database, it will have some things. What is this? .mdf file, .ldf file. So this is where your data of the tables is going to go. So this is simply a log. Log means if something is going on, the details of the things will get recorded in this. Clear? I told you also it is just like a CC camera in your organization. So in your CC camera, so whatever you do in the company, whatever you do in the company, all things will get recorded in your CC camera, right? So it is a log. If something goes wrong, people are going to be using a log, otherwise, no, right? But when you create a database, what you do after creating a database, you create a table and you store data in it. When you store the data, all the data will get stored into this file only. You watch video number 2 and video number 3 or refer your notes. The topic name is called database architecture. Clear? And you watch, you will come to know what is MDF and what is LDF. Tables, and you store the data. So I have created this, and if you wanted to see those, files, right click on the company, go to properties. Now, as I told you, all these files are available here. You can expand the screen. I told you one is called .mdf file, .ldf file. So this is the space where this is the location where .mdf file is there, and this is the place where .log file will be there. You can simply copy, Control C, go to Start button, and you should be able to copy and paste it here. Click on Continue. So this is where you have a lot of databases, right? For each and every database, there is a MDF file and there is a LDF file. So those files are available here. Go to Start, click on Run. Say Run and press Enter. So you Control C, Control V, copy and paste. So when you go here and paste it, so this one is going to be copied. Which one is copied? So this path is going to be getting copied to this small run application. Click on OK, which is going to open your this location. Clear? So that is what is very, very important. So you will be able to see the MDF files, data file, MDF file. So just now we have created data file and log file. Clear? So end of the day, as we discussed, the data of the database or the table will be stored in a file. The file is called master data file, and there is a transaction log file will be there. uh, per database, at least one file has to be there, one transaction log file has to be there. Clear? So this is what you should know. Now later, if you wanted to drop this or delete this database, right click and you can say delete it. So creating a database and deleting a database is very, very easy, and you can just refresh like this. Clear? You can collapse, you can expand. Clear? And you can expand. By default, you don't have all these databases. You need to create them one by one. These databases are called as user-defined databases. Clear? So this is how we are going to be creating a database. So creating a database is a DDL command. Clear? Creating, or we can say deleting or dropping the database, and we have altering it. Altering means modifying. Okay. So and one more command is called truncate. So these are called DDL commands. So we know how to create a database. Clear? Now we know how to drop a database. Data definition means you need to create an object. Clear? So what did we create? We have created a database and we also deleted or dropped the database. Clear? So now you go, you can create again if you want to create. And I told you, so we are going to be creating databases first. So there are two types of databases that you need to understand. Two types of databases. Clear? One is called system database. The second one is called user defined database. That means, so some databases are called system databases, and some databases called I have, my own databases. For example, so there is a system defined database, system database. When you open it, master model MSDB, temp DB, these are called, or what are called, these are called, what are they? Master model MSDB and TempDB. Clear? So these four databases are called as master databases. These are there when you install the software. Clear? So these will not be there. That you need to create. How to create these databases? Now right click on database, a new database. I wanted to create one more database called school database. Click on connect. Or I would like to create a database called college. Okay, you can have a database called college. This is what is your own database. Clear? So you must create the database and create the tables. No tables will be there by default. You must create the tables and put the data, store the data. Whenever you need it, you can get the data. Clear? So as I told you, so RDBMS is there to store the data. And if you don't need this, let me right click and delete this. That is how you are going to be using this, deleting and creating. Am I clear? But so I told you, so there are two types of databases. So total databases, system databases plus user defined put together, we can have 32,767 databases per instance or per server. Okay, per instance. Instance means per setup. So in a single setup, you can have these many databases. So four system databases, master, model, MSDB, TimpDB. These are by default you will have. Okay. So these databases given by Microsoft. Don't touch this database. Don't try to play with these databases. Okay. Master database is heart of the database. When you go, it is the heart. If your heart is gone, so you're dead, right? So heart and the brain is very, very important parts of your body. If heart is gone, or if brain is gone, then definitely you're gone, right? So master is heart of the SQL server. If you drop this database, so right click and there's no drop command, but if you try to, if you try to delete this or try to, modify this database, means you're gone. Okay, you're gone. You cannot do anything now. You cannot do anything now. So it is very, very important that you should not play with the master database at all. Clear? So who's going to be using it? Is being used by the SQL server itself. So you don't repair your brain, right? You need to have a good doctor who can repair your brain if there is a problem in your brain. So you should not, as a developer, you don't know what is this, right? So you never play with this master database, which is the brain of SQL server. So people would ask you, if something goes wrong to the master database, what happens? Complete SQL server is down. That's it. There is a problem to your brain. What will happen? Can you work? No, you're dead, right? Even though you're alive, all body parts are there, you will be declared as a brain dead. So that means there is no use at all. Clear? If you do any, if you play with this database, that means even the SQL server is there, it is not going to work at all. So remember, so master database is completely heart of the SQL server. Never ever play with this database. Never ever try to do something with this database. It's very, very important database. Clear? So if something goes wrong to this master database, what happens? People may ask you this question. What happens if something goes wrong in the master database? What happens if master database is deleted? DB is deleted. Okay. So what happens if this is deleted? So SQL Server will not start. Very simple. Clear? SQL Server will be down and it will not start. It is gone. Am I clear? It's very very important that you should know. What happens if master DB is deleted? SQL Server will not start at all. Clear? So what is a master database? It is going to be having complete configuration details. So what is that your brain is going to be carrying? Do you know that? But you should know it is capturing what is the body temperature it should maintain, what is the heartbeat you need to have, what is the pressure on which the blood has to go, right? So everything has to be monitored by the brain only. What is the insulin level it has to produce, right? So a lot of things it's going to be taking care. Lot of configurations, right? Lot of body temperatures, your name, lot of things it's going to be having. So if something goes wrong to master database, completely you're gone. SQL Server is gone. Clear? Master database is going to be having all configuration information. Clear? SQL Server name. What is the SQL Server name? Configuration settings and all other DB information also is going to be taking care. For example, so what is this and complete information about other databases also will get stored in the master database. Master is a brain. It knows what are the other databases it is containing. That information also this is going to store, and all your pass user IDs and passwords. Clear? User and passwords are going to be there. Tomorrow we are going to create lot of security logins. Clear? Not everybody can get into SQL Server. There are some permission going to be given. So all user IDs and passwords are going to be captured. So when you're talking about security, when you say my user ID is Bhaskar Jogi, my password is something else, where is that information stored? In this database only. Clear? So that is what is called very very important database. So what happens if master DB is deleted accidentally? SQL Server will not start. Never play with the master database. It's very very important database. The next one is called model database. Clear? So model we can discuss later. Even MSDB also will discuss later. Let us talk about TempDB database. TempDB, as the name suggests, temp means it is not permanent, which is temporary. So sometimes, when you go for a mathematics examination, you wanted to have extra sheets to do the rough work, right? So when you're doing mathematics examination, you wanted to have a lot of rough work, right? So lot of extra main calculations to be done. So that will be done in the extra rough work. After the examination, you tear them off. You don't need those extra sheets at all. So that extra, temporary sheets or temporary tables will get created in the TempDB database, which is a global resource. Global means all the people who are connected to the server can use TempDB space, and which is a rough, a TempDB space means you can keep them some calculations. If you wanted to sort the data, do some extra calculations that can be done in this database. So as soon as you come out of the server, the tables and everything will get dropped permanently. Clear? So this is what is called a TempDB. Model database is a templated database. Okay. So template database, this we can use when you create a new database. This is going to be used. So we'll discuss them later, not now. Okay. So whenever you create a new database, so this is going to be used. Clear? So we'll discuss them later. MSDB TempDB, you can create lot of jobs and alerts. What is the meaning of this? If there is a failure, if there is a failure, so immediately I should get an alert. So what kind of an alert we can set? We can set SMS alert, email alert. So saying that there is no space in the server, the server is not running properly. All the server health issues and everything automatically will get triggered to DBA team. So 24 by 7, that team will be there. So they will be getting some kind of a, automatic algorithm, automatic alerts from the server itself saying that there is no space in the drive. So automatically these people will add a new drive or new hard disk. Clear? And automatically jobs also can be created. For example, I wanted to take the complete backup of a database. Clear? So this is a job. So this kind of information will get stored in MSDB database and the backup. So for example, every day you get the new data. If something goes wrong tomorrow, what happens to this data? So we need to have a database backup. Clear? So when you say right click and you say tasks and you should be able to backup, if we have a backup, you should be able to restore them, right? So tomorrow I wanted to, take this database backup that manually you need not take it. So automatically using MSDB, it automatically takes all these database backups and push them into one more remote location. For example, there is an earthquake in India. My server is gone. It does not mean that my data is gone because I have taken the laptop, I have taken the backup. So backup will be taken every 5 minutes, every 1 hour, depends upon the schedules that will follow. Clear? So you think that every 1 hour you have a backup. So for example, 9 o'clock you have taken the backup, 9:30 the server is crashed. So what happens? Maximum 30 minutes data you lose it, but till 9 o'clock data you have it in remote server. Clear? So like that, so all these database backups are taken with the help of MSDB only. TempDB is just like a rough area. Clear? So system databases are very, very important. You should know what are these databases. And apart from that, whatever be the database that you have created, I'm talking about AdventureWorks, okay, given by Microsoft for learning purpose, and you have AdventureWorks, then lot of other database. You can see iBank database, we can see college database, that whatever we have created, these are called user defined database, library, iBank, hotel, go online, Amazon. So these are the user defined databases put together. So put together these four plus and remaining is 32,763. So we can have totally 767, 32,767 databases we can have. Am I clear? So how to create a database is very, very simple. You simply right click on this and say new database. Never ever give a different names. For example, college info. You don't give the space like this. You don't give the space in between. It will get created, but make sure that you use underscore or without spaces. We can create a database name. Clear? College info. You can go and refresh. So it will be in the proper order. So you can create. But if you wanted to drop it, click on this and delete it. Right click on this and delete it. Am I clear? So how to create and how to drop we discussed. Create and drop we discussed. So this is what is called DDL command. But we must write a command. This is not the way. Right click and creating a new database is not right the one. We must write a command. To do that, you need to click on new query. So this is the window. You need to click on it. Button. You need to click on it. So this is the where you are going to be writing what commands? All the SQL commands you're going to be writing. Clear? So SQL commands you're going to be writing. So this is what is called, comment. Okay. So we should know what is a comment. Comment means even though you click on execute button, this code will not get executed. If you remove this two lines, and you execute this, it will give you an error. Clear? So when you put two hyphens, so what is the meaning? This is a single line comment. What is the meaning of this? Even though you try to execute this line will not get executed. Clear? So this is what is called comment. So double hyphen. So I wanted to have multiple lines comment. So multiple lines comment. Instead of writing like this, I need to use two hyphens here, two hyphens here, two hyphens here. So instead of writing two hyphens here, you can use like this. Okay, you can use and you can put like this. So whatever be the lines that you're getting, writing in between. So these lines will get commented. Even though you try to select and click on execute button, nothing will happen. Clear? So this is what is called multiple line. So somebody put some design like this. Some designs they'll add. Okay. Some designs they will add. They will write some comments here. So this code will not get executed at all. And this is a double hyphen is a single line comment. Clear? And it is what is called multiple line comments. So if you wanted to write some commands, SQL commands, first we need to deal with the what command? So I'm talking about DDL commands. Okay. The first command I'm talking about is create database command. Okay. Command will say syntax. Syntax means the, how to write the code. Create database syntax, or you can say command. So the syntax is like this. Create database, then you have to provide database name. So DB name have to be given and say go. So this is how syntactically, if using a command, you should be able to create a database. Now, one thing is that with the user interface UI, right click on this new database, but this is not the way a developer can create a database. You need to write a commands code. So this is the code called syntax. Clear? So create a database name if you wanted to drop a database. So the second command I wanted to show you, I wanted to drop a database. So you need to say drop database name, and go. Go is not compulsory, even though you don't write it, no worry. But let me keep the go there. Okay. If you wanted to, if you wanted to modify, so that we can say modify a database. I will say here alter database name, whatever you wanted to alter the code you need to write and say go. So this is the next command. Clear? So these three commands, so create, alter, drop. Okay, so after dropping it you cannot alter it. So create, if you wanted to modify it, you can modify it. If you don't need at all, you can drop them. Clear, guys? So this is what you should be able to do it. Let me create nice database now. So if you wanted to create, so create database name, let me give the database name is called company. Okay, so execute only this command. Execute. Now executed. Now you go and refresh. Now we can see a company database is created. Have you seen this? Now you wanted to drop this database. Now you remove the database name. You can write Control C and Control V. We can execute this. Executed. Now you go and refresh. The company database is gone. You create, execute this, and you go and refresh. Company database is there. There is a structure. Have you seen this? Now I wanted to drop this. You can execute this line and refresh. The company database is gone. Clear? So whatever you wanted to do it, so you should be able to do it. So there is no issue at all. Clear, guys? So the company database is gone. So creating and dropping is very, very simple. Alter command, we can see them later. So I don't want to drop as well. I wanted to only create. Clear? So I don't need all these things. Let me remove. So let me start with the DDL commands. I'm going to be using SQL command. So DDL command create database. Let me create this. Created. Go there and refresh it. So you should be able to get a company. So within this, I wanted to create a table. So I say use company. So this is the command you need to run. So what is the thing you have created? But in this only, I wanted to have something, right? So by default you're pointing to master database. Now let me execute this command. When you execute it, you're pointing to company database. Clear? So you have a lot of people. I wanted to fire one object. What I do, I take a gun, I point it to that fellow, and I'll start triggering the bullets, right? So you create a database. After that, you point to this. How do you point? You say use company. Say use anything else. Use iBank. If I say use iBank, so I am pointing to iBank database. Let me click and execute this. You're pointing to iBank database. Clear? Remember this. So when you create a database, now the next one is change or point, change the database context. So in which you wanted to create the tables. I would like to say use company. So execute this. Now you're pointing to company. So that means you have a lot many databases, but what databases you wanted to point to? I wanted to point to company database. I don't have any tables. Now I want to create a table. So first command is this, second command is this. Clear? So you will be pointing to this. If you don't want to write a command, means simply you can just go and use your database. That is also fine. But I don't want to use like this. Simply I can write and go to my database like this. Clear? So after that, I wanted to create what? A table. Create a table. Syntax. How can we create a table? It's very, very important. The syntax is create.
Sir, I'm sorry, I lost you on the change the database context.
You watch this video once again. So this is what you need to execute. When you execute it, you are pointing to your own database. Clear?
Is it's after you create, right? It's like
Yeah.
modifying.
It is not like modifying. I told you I wanted to use this database and put the tables into the database. For example, you have 10 boxes, right? You have created 10 boxes, and one of the box you wanted to place the cake. So how do you say? How do you tell your kid? So go to that box and place the cake there. So I'm saying use this database and place the tables there. Clear?
Mhm. Okay.
Did you understand or not?
A little, not very much.
Yeah. Lot many databases are available, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how do you tell SQL Server that you are going to use this database? Because you have a lot of databases, right?
Oh,
So
I
how do
see.
you
Yeah.
refer this database? So you say
Okay.
use company. That means you are telling SQL Server, hey SQL Server, you go to company database now, and whatever be the command I'm going to execute later, it will get executed in this company database. Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the
Thank you.
meaning of use company means what? You're going to be using this database. You're not going to touch this, you're not going to touch this, you're going to touch this. And inside this database, what is that you do? You create tables. So create a table syntax, you should know how to create the. Okay. So the syntax is very, very simple. Create a table, table name. Okay, create table name, and open the bracket, close the bracket. You need to write column name. Okay, and data type. If it is a primary key, you have to mention which is the primary key. If it is identity, identity means automatic. Column means you need to provide seed and increment. Clear? And put comma. So column name, data type is very, very important. Then column name, data type. If you wanted to mention it is a null column, mention like this. If it is a not null column, you can mention like this. Clear? And if it is a in null column, you can also have a default values. Okay, default. What is the value you wanted to give? You can give. and a lot of things. If it is a not null column, you can mention not null or null, and you can give a check constraint, and you can write a salary greater than 0, something like this. Clear? If you wanted to create a foreign key, so column name data type null, say foreign key. Foreign key, this is the syntax. Okay, don't worry about syntax. References, foreign key references, primary key table name, and primary key column name. Okay, so this is how you got to create, this is how you need to create what is called as a table. Clear? Column name, data type. Column name, data type. What is the primary key we discussed? What is the identity we discussed? What is null we discussed? What is not null we discussed? What is a default we discussed? What is a check constraint we discussed? And we discussed one-to-one, one-to-many, how to create a primary key and foreign keys. Diagrammatically we seen, but programmatically, this is the programmatic way of creating a, establishing a relationship to the primary key table to foreign key table. So this is the syntax. Clear? And say go. This is the syntax you can use to create your table. Am I clear? Now, I'll give you one example. Create table. Table name, let me have a department table. Open the bracket, close the bracket, say go. Department table, let us say department ID, which is integer, so which is a primary key, primary space key. If you say without space, it will be wrong. Primary space key, and at the end you should put comma. See, I'm putting commas everywhere. Many people will ask me, sir, it is not working for me. So they would have given like this, or they would have removed this. It is not going to work. Clear? So department ID, then we'll say department name. Don't give any spaces. If you give space, then your code is gone. Remember not to give any spaces like this. Okay. So where in the column name, in the primary key there is a space. Where you need to give the space, where you should not give space. Be clear. Column names must not contain spaces. This is varchar. And what is a varchar we discussed? If not, you have to go to data types section and listen to that video once again. Varchar 100, that means the name, department name cannot be more than 100 characters, which is a not space null. That's it. So this is the last one. I need not put comma. So create. But where it will get created? It will get created in the company database. Clear? Now you execute, your table is ready. Now you can just go there. So you go and refresh. Now you go to company database. You can see a table. The table is called a department table. Now you can see two columns. Department ID is primary key, means no duplicates are allowed. Department name is varchar 100. So you should be able to see two columns there. So programmatically, how do you see? See the table. You can say select star from the table name. Clear? So see the table means you should be able to write this command and try to execute. So this is how you can see the table, but there is no data in it. Clear, guys? And if you wanted to see, if you wanted to put the data, we'll say insert the data. Where? In a table. So what is the command? The command is very, very simple. The syntax you should know first. Insert into table name and values. You need to supply value 1 comma value 2 dot dot dot. If you have thousands of columns, all the values you need to supply. Clear? This is the syntax. Now let me write a proper table name is what? Department is a table name, right? So you say department. What is the first value? First value is department ID. Say 10. Department ID is sales department. So where care data, and care data, and where care data, any care where care data must be in single quotes. Double quotes will not work. Number data, currency data must not be in quotes. Remember this, okay? So this is how you can execute. Now you can read the data. You are able to store one row. Have you seen this? Now this is the command. This is the command. Now you should be able to copy this and paste it. The next one you can have is 20, say purchase department. So execute only this command. Now you see the data. So this is the command. Now one more row got inserted. You should be able to create a table. You should be able to create the database. Now use company. Now later you're going to be creating a table. Clear? After creating a table, you see the data. So this is the command. Now this is the command to insert the data. We'll stop the class and we'll see tomorrow. We had seen a select star. This is a DML command. Inserting we had seen. Tomorrow we'll see update and delete. Clear? How to create a database, how to create a table. Create means that is a DDL command. So create a database, and after that we create a table. So this is also a DDL command. And the creating database, it is also a DDL command. Whatever whatever you're creating, that is DDL commands. So reading the data. So this is a DML command, data manipulation, and inserting is called as DML command. We see lot of commands that we're going to be seeing. You can switch off, you can switch it on. Clear like this. And if you close this by mistake, you can go to view menu, object explorer. You should be able to get this. You can just collapse it, collapse it, collapse it, collapse it, expand it, and you can refresh by clicking on this, and you can go to your database. You can see the tables. Right? If you wanted to see the data, you can say right click on this, say select top 1000 rows. You can see the data like this as well. Now you can see the data. The same command will get executed. This is a DML command. Clear? You can close this window. If you wanted to see the data, right click on this, select. Instead of right, you know the command. So you should be able to click on this. Clear? If you're pointing to some other database, for example, you're pointing to this, now you go and you execute. It will say invalid object name department. So you need to point, you need to check and which database you're pointing to. Clear? And you should be able to point to which database. So your own database, that is company. Point to that and execute this. Clear, guys? So these are the commands we had seen, and this file is a code. This is the code you have written. So you wanted to save this file. Clear? Click on the save button. So you can say my practice. Okay, my practice, or you can say company SQL script. Okay, so wherever you wanted to store this, you can store, go to C drive. Okay, you can create a folder. You can say SQL practice. You can say SQL practice, and we can create something, and company SQL script, you can save them there. Clear? So it is got saved. You can close, and if you want to get that file tomorrow, you can go to file, you say recent files. So this is the file, it will be opening it. Okay, you can close this, you can go to C drive. So go to which drive? C drive. This is the SQL, right? So double click on this, you can open this. When you double click on this, now it will say always use this app. Yes, this is SQL file. You can double click on this file will get opened. Clear? Always you come and execute this, and you're pointing to company. Clear? So this is the code I have written today. Now tomorrow also I can continue further in this line. You can close this. you can close the SQL server as well. So these are the things that we discussed today. Okay, so a lot of things we'll discuss, and we do the lab today and tomorrow, guys. If you have any questions, you're welcome.